Unit number 8, Strategies for Successful Interpersonal Communication and Group Meetings. Unit Overview. This unit focuses on some principles relating to dyadic communication and then offers suggestions on handling 3 common forms of interpersonal communication: interviewing, telephoning, and dictating. In this unit, you will improve your understanding and ability about face-to-face communication. Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to perform face-to-face communication more effectively, achieve the objectives of interpersonal communication, whether that is interviewing, telephoning, or dictating, prepare agenda and minutes of meeting. Introduction to interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is face-to-face communication between 2 or more people with the opportunity for immediate feedback. Hence, both sender and receiver affect one another. The feedback loop involves oral and non-verbal responses and is immediate rather than delayed as in written communication. Interpersonal communication is important because of the functions it achieves. Various functions of interpersonal communication are: gaining information. One reason we engage in interpersonal communication is that we can gain knowledge about other individuals so that we can interact with them more effectively. Building a context of understanding. We also engage in interpersonal communication to help us better understand what someone says in a given context. The words we say can mean very different things depending on how they are said or in what context. Interpersonal needs. We engage in interpersonal communication because we need to express and receive interpersonal needs: inclusion, control, and affection. Inclusion is the need to establish identity with others. Control is the need to exercise leadership and prove one's abilities. And affection is the need to develop relationships with people. Dyadic communication. We define dyad as 2 persons seeking to exchange information. Of course, that may occur within a meeting, but here we focus on personal one-to-one interaction. Communication that is unidirectional lacks feedback. In this figure, speaker A sends message to receiver B and receives little feedback. B in turn sends that message to listener C, again with little feedback. That is not good interpersonal communication. The next figure shows a more purposeful dyadic exchange. So we can say that dyadic communication is two-way. Feedback is immediate. In this interchange, both persons have a perception of themselves, either accurate or erroneous. Regardless of those perceptions, we are most open with those closest to us and less so with our partners in a business environment. Interviewing. An important aspect of oral communication is interviewing. It is a conversation with purpose and uses all the types of communication: speaking, listening, writing. Notes are made during the interview, and even some reading. Some written material may be used during or after the interview. Interview is an interpersonal communication where information is passed on to and sought from the candidate. It is a face-to-face meeting. The purpose may be to give and elicit views, opinions, and information. Types of interview. Interviews may be of different types. Some of the important types of interviews are: selection and job interview. Its purpose is to select the suitable candidates for appointment. As employers become more and more selective, realizing the advantage of good staff, job interviews have become more important than ever. Vocational guidance interview. Very often, academic institutes or some specialized bodies conduct interviews to help individuals find their best vocation or occupation or profession. This is gradually becoming popular in developing countries as well as in developed ones. Instructional, training, and counseling interview. Very often, existing employees are given some special or new assignment. An interview is the best possible way to train and instruct an employee for the proposed assignment. Counseling interview is conducted to help an employee solve some official or personal problem. Appraisal interview. Appraisal interviews are conducted to evaluate and appraise the performance of the employees. Such interviews encourage the employees to give better performance in future. Clinical interview. Sometimes emotionally disturbed people are patients of clinical psychologists. The doctor or psychotherapist may require several meetings with the patient to solve the problem. Such meeting takes the shape of an interview which serves as treatment. Survey interview. Survey is done to find out marketing data and related problems. Personal discussions along with prepared questionnaire is used for survey interview. In field research area, such interviews are very common to collect information. Patterned interview. The most common type of interview is the patterned interview. It is considered most effective in getting truthful responses from the candidate and in forming an acute judgment about his or her potential or suitability for a specific job. Telephoning. The telephone may be one of the most powerful, efficient, and cost-effective business tool you have at your disposal. Whether you use the phone for customer service or for sales calls as part of telemarketing strategy, telephone manners and etiquette are critical components of a professional image. Through experience, you'll develop your own telephone style. You'll also find customers and prospects responding positively when you and your employees smile, listen, and show personal interest. These tips will help you use your telephone tool to its fullest. Know your specific purpose. Have some questions in mind. It is better to have one central purpose. Know the person you are calling and the best time to call. Answer the phone pleasantly and maintain a pleasant demeanor while on the phone. Take notes. Have before you pertinent papers of previous correspondence or summaries of previous discussions. Listen and respond to the person on the other end of the line. When you focus on them rather than on what you are going to say next, the phone call becomes much more conversational. Attend the telephone on first ring. Evaluate your telephone voice. Your voice is your personality over the telephone. It makes an immediate impression that can portray you as friendly or distant, confident or timid, spontaneous or mechanical, relaxed or nervous. So how do you come across over the phone? Record yourself while on phone and evaluate these attributes. Pitch. Is your voice too shrill or strained? Do you speak in a monotone? In normal speech, pitch varies. These variations are known as inflection. The more inflection you use, the more interesting your tone of voice is. Volume. Check the volume or loudness of your voice. Is it too soft or too loud? Often when people are tired or upset, their voices tend to fade and they will be asked to speak up. Rate. If you speak too slowly, you are likely to lose the attention of the listener. Conversely, your listener won't be able to follow you if you speak too rapidly. In either case, your message won't get through. Quality. Quality of your voice is its most distinctive and individual characteristic. This is where the essence of warmth, understanding, and liability come into play. Smiling as you speak enhances your vocal quality. Being angry, upset, or in a hurry negatively affects your vocal quality. Articulation. You must pronounce your words very clearly or your listeners will misunderstand you. Faulty articulation and incorrect word pronunciation give your listener an impression that you are careless and lack knowledge. How to use the telephone more effectively. The telephone is effective when used efficiently, sparingly, and within the framework of a plan. This list summarizes some tested guidelines for making the phone a tool that works best for you. Know the purpose of your call. Know the audience you are calling. Start off right. Use names whenever possible. Pay attention and be aware of your tone. Listen carefully. Avoid initiating major business if possible. Avoid confrontation. Be assertive, not aggressive. And conduct a verbal review. Dictating. It is defined as to say or read out something for someone else to write down. Dyadic communication is direct communication between two persons. Dictation is oral communication between two people but with a twist. You speak to someone either directly or via some electronic device. Your goal often is to have someone else type a communication that will be sent to an addressee. Shorthand is falling by the wayside. In its place is the spoken word recorded on the many kinds of electronic devices for transcription later. Suggestions for dictating. Your approach will vary little from preparing for a telephone call. Here too, you collect information, plan for your specific purpose, organize ideas clearly, and speak in a firm, clear voice. What you do additionally is give more instruction to the stenographer transcribing your word onto paper. We offer 7 suggestions. Give the precise name, address of the individual to whom the message is to be sent. Speak clearly. Be careful with plurals. Spell unusual words or names when using them for the first time. Suggest punctuation. Avoid side comments. Dictate at a slower rate of speech. End with a suggestion regarding the time you will need the recorded information and state where you can be reached. Meetings. These are formally arranged gatherings. We cannot run our professional life without meetings. Meetings allow us to share our knowledge and know-how. They improve the performance of individual skills. Combined brains and concerted efforts are more effective and more productive than individual contributions. Meetings satisfy a deep instinct in all of us to communicate with others and to share common problems, opinions, attitudes. So we had better reconcile ourselves to the fact that there is no substitute for meetings. To repeat, there is no adequate substitute for meetings and therefore we must strive to make our meetings more successful and perhaps even more enjoyable. A meeting can be defined as a gathering of 3 or more people sharing common objectives where communication, verbal or written, is the primary means of achieving those objectives. Objectives of meetings. All meetings, however, have one or more of these objectives. To reach decisions as a body on policy or for executive action. To help someone make a decision. To give advice to another person or to a body. To inform. To obtain information or to pool information. To solve a problem. And to throw up new or creative ideas. Agenda. It is a list of all matters and other business to be raised and discussed at a meeting. Successful meeting can only be conducted with an adequate agenda, the program of the meeting. A well-planned agenda is necessary and it should be sent to the members at least a week before the meeting. Purpose of agenda: to inform the members of the date, time and place of the meeting, to give them time to prepare their information, material, etc. so that they are ready to discuss the items on the agenda. Most agendas follow a conventional pattern with these headings: apologies for absence, correspondence, minutes of last meeting, matters arising from the minutes, these items if important may be listed, motions, matters to be discussed, special reports, it may be necessary to place this earlier in the agenda, and any other business. The agenda is normally drafted by the secretary in consultation with the chairman, and it is circulated at least a week before the meeting with any necessary papers, minutes of the last meeting, etc. Minutes of meeting. Minutes, written detailed statements, are kept of each meeting by the secretary. The responsibility of the secretary is to note all the discussion on the agenda by all the participants present in the meeting. Minutes carry time, date, place, and duration of the meeting, who spoke, on what, decisions taken, decisions not taken, etc. The minutes should be factually correct with no omission. It is therefore wise to write them as soon as possible after the meeting while all the facts and details are fresh in the mind. Use simple language and avoid business letter jargon. Avoid the overuse of the passive voice. Prefer the short familiar words to the long and unfamiliar. Use short sentences and write the minutes as an account of what happened, what was said, what was decided. Keep the same headings as on the agenda and use plenty of headings and subheadings so that members can quickly find relevant information. Types of meeting. 3 kinds of meetings are used to present information and help solve problems. Informational meeting. Here, the purpose is to inform the participants about some developments or changes. These meetings are easy to lead and to participate. As the purpose is to transmit or exchange information, there is no scope of any argument or disagreement. Information meetings seek only to clarify, to make something clear, to give information. In such meetings, the members learn, ask and understand various questions. No problems are solved and no recommendations are given. The basic purpose of such a meeting is to inform the participants and make them understand that particular information. Examples: retirement planning for those over the age of 50, report on the company's strategic plans for the next fiscal year, changes in reporting procedures in the purchasing department. Suggestion-giving meeting. In this type of meeting, the leader or manager presents suggested solution for discussing and debate. All the participants take part in the discussion and present their ideas. The suggested solution is adopted with a sense of participation. In this type, various preliminary views prior to the final recommendation are brought together and discussed. In short, all the problems are collectively discussed in the meeting and comments on different suggestions are made. The meeting is exploratory and informational. In the end, a final recommendation is prepared for higher approval or group consensus. Problem-solving meeting. The purpose of such a meeting is to solve the problem or to take a decision. These meetings require great tact, skill, and other leadership qualities on the part of the leader. Here, there is much scope for argument and disagreement. Proper guidance is essential for the success of problem-solving meeting. These meetings, as evident from the name, are used to solve the problems generated from previous meetings. The steps involved include: major problem is presented early in the meeting. Participants suggest solutions, discussing and evaluating them. Participants arrive at a decision for further action. Planning steps for the problem-solving meeting. Before the conference or meeting. To accomplish his objective, the leader of a meeting must follow certain planning steps. Analyze the problem and determine the objective of the conference. It refers to the agenda. It must be important, useful, timely, and interesting to the participants. The members of the conference should be informed about the agenda in advance so that they may be familiar with the discussion. Decide who the participants will be. Relevant members prepared for the conference should be invited and informed well ahead of time. Their interest in the topic should be stimulated by showing its importance and by giving some reference materials and background explanation. Arrange the venue including place, date and time. Consider the suitable day, date and time along with the place the conference or meeting is going to be held. Physical arrangements. The leader should take care of the physical arrangements of the conference or meeting place. Comfortable seating arrangements, proper air conditioning or heating, and microphone system are essential requisites of a successful conference meeting. A congenial, peaceful atmosphere helps and encourages good discussion. During the meeting, while conducting a conference, particularly a problem-solving meeting, the leader should observe some procedures. Strict punctuality is a must for a responsible deliberation. Introduce the topic or the purpose of the meeting. Introduction of the topic in the beginning is very important. The problem or the topic should be introduced clearly and concisely. It may incorporate importance of the discussion. Encourage and stimulate discussion. It is the responsibility of the leader to stimulate discussion. He or she should encourage the members to take active part in the discussion. To achieve this objective, first the leader must show his own interest and enthusiasm for the topic. Sort, select, and interpret the data. The leader must sort out, select and interpret these data and arrange them in proper sequence. Direct and motivate. The leader must see to it that the discussion moves in the proper direction and the participants are motivated to arrive at a consensus. If it becomes obvious that agreement on certain points is not possible, the leader should summarize the points of agreement, leaving out the points in disagreement for future consideration. This will help to end the conference on a positive note. State the conclusion, move the resolution. At the end of the conference, the leader should move a resolution or present a solution. Here, the statement should not begin with I, but with you. As you suggested, as you have agreed, etc. The final result of the conference should give an impression of cooperation, consent, and collective effort. After the conference or meeting, follow the necessary after the conference or meeting. It requires the distribution of minutes of meeting, interpreting the name of organization or documents, date, time, and place of meeting, attendance of participant or visitors, summary of reports, solution or suggestion or resolution adopted, and appointment of committees or individuals to carry out the action. Methods of solving problems in meetings. Generally, these approaches are used to solve problems in meetings. Intuition. It refers to rapid insight to the problem. Rationalization. Justification of the solution over a certain period of time. Reflective thinking. Logical progression to arrive at a particular answer. Steps used for solving problems in meetings. Background analysis. Discovery of solution. Evaluation of solution. And implementation of solution. Background analysis. First, state the problem in an affirmative tone because negative wordings create anxiety and could imply a preliminary judgment. Discovery of solution. The next step is to define and limit the problem, then collect facts on the history of the problem by analyzing questions such as for how long the problem existed, the possible causes and effects of the problem, the symptoms of the problem, how do other companies handle the problem, and the extent of the problem. The background material gained will form a basis for the discovery of the right solution. Evaluation of solution. The next step is to evaluate all the suggestions in the light of the established criteria. During this process, you explore every aspect of the proposed solution and check for its viability. Finally, a consensus or a formal vote is conducted to determine which solution is to be accepted. Implementation of solution. In the last stage, before implementation of the proposed solution, certain factors are kept in mind. These include cost of implementation, participants' responsibilities in meetings. As a participant, you are in a position to make a significant contribution to the success of the meeting you attend. All you need is a tactful way to ask questions and offer suggestions. A productive participant does these. Before the meeting, check your data, confirm your conclusion, be on time, and collect relevant information. During the meeting, clarify as a question if the issue is not clear. Contribute by giving accepted facts and options. Try to keep the discussion moving by keeping persons interested and motivated. Try to avoid deadlocks by suggesting possible compromises. Help others, invite participants and ask for contribution from those who are more silent. Tactfully suggest new ideas containing correct information. Tactfully bring back the group to the central topic if the group deviates from the topic. After the meeting, fulfill the responsibilities placed upon you.